we'll be here next year. Better offense, same defense.
Because these Broncos know how to weather any storm.
Broncos fans, it hurts to come up short. After years on the outside looking in, Denver was back in the Super Bowl conversation deep into the season, only to fall just short against the Patriots. Watching this year's Super Bowl unfold at Levi's Stadium, the disappointment is real. However, while the on-field result stings, the future off the field may be brighter than ever. Less than 2 miles from Empower Field at Mile High, a new development is pushing the Broncos toward a bold next chapter. A new privately funded stadium at Burnham Yard with a retractable roof would finally give the Broncos a place built for the league's biggest moments. And maybe, one day, a Super Bowl happening right here in Denver. The journey took a real step forward last November when the Broncos submitted a large development review pre-application to the city of Denver. Now, in early 2026, fresh developments are quietly moving this vision closer to reality. So what exactly is a large development review pre-application, and why does it matter? And more importantly, what's the next step that could determine whether this stadium remains a concept or becomes the future home of Broncos football? The push for a new Denver Broncos stadium is rooted in timing, control, and long-term vision. The team's current home, Empower Field at Mile High, opened in 2001 and is publicly owned by the Metropolitan Football Stadium District. While still functional, the Broncos do not control the building or the surrounding land, and their lease expires after the 2030 season. From the Broncos' perspective, ownership matters more than ever. Under the Walton Penner family ownership group, which purchased the team in 2022, the strategy has shifted toward a privately funded, team-owned venue. Empower Field is approaching 30 years old by NFL standards, a point where stadiums typically require massive upgrades to keep up with modern expectations. Additionally, the idea of a new stadium goes far beyond comfort or technology. It's about trying to restart a winning identity that has been missing for nearly a decade. This is a franchise that once set the standard in the NFL. 3 Super Bowl titles, 8 AFC championships, and legendary eras led by John Elway and Peyton Manning. But since lifting the Lombardi Trophy in Super Bowl 50, the Broncos have struggled to find their footing. From 2016 to 2024, Denver missed the playoffs for 8 straight seasons, the longest drought in team history. The team also went through 14 different starting quarterbacks after Manning retired, never finding a true long-term leader at the most important position. During that same stretch, rivals like the Kansas City Chiefs pulled ahead, winning 3 Super Bowls since 2019 and taking over the AFC West. Even historically, there are milestones the franchise has never reached. Denver has never hosted a Super Bowl, largely because Empower Field lacks a roof and February weather is unpredictable. Other major events, such as the FIFA World Cup 2026, have once again gone to the Kansas City Chiefs. That reality is a major driver behind the Broncos' push for a new retractable roof stadium. Not just to keep pace with the league, but to stop falling behind both their divisional rivals and comparable NFL cities.
We couldn't be more excited about Burnham Yard as the preferred site to build a new stadium.
For the Denver Broncos, the Large Development Review, or in short LDR, is the first formal step in turning the Burnham Yard vision into a real stadium project. Submitted to the city of Denver in late 2025, the LDR is not a construction permit and not final approval. Instead, it's a high-level planning process that allows the team and city to align early on what can be built, how it fits the neighborhood, and how it connects to Denver as a whole. At its core, the LDR lays out a big-picture framework. The documents show a proposed stadium site on the former rail yard, surrounded by a mixed-use stadium neighborhood, and backed by a clear regulatory timeline stretching from 2025 through 2027. That schedule includes coordinated steps like the small area plan, mobility studies, infrastructure master planning, site development plans, and building permits. A major focus of the LDR is infrastructure readiness. The images highlight how Burnham Yard ties into existing sewer, water, and stormwater systems, with new on-site detention and utility upgrades planned to support a year-round venue. The LDR also emphasizes location and connectivity. Burnham Yard sits just west of downtown Denver, less than a mile from Empower Field, and directly next to a light rail station. Plans show strong links to surrounding neighborhoods like Lincoln Park and the Santa Fe Arts District, with views of downtown and the Front Range positioned as a defining feature. The goal is not an isolated stadium, but an extension of the city. Finally, the review outlines how event day transportation would work. Rather than relying solely on cars, the concept leans heavily on light rail, structured and underground parking, managed rideshare zones, and temporary street controls to keep traffic flowing and protect nearby neighborhoods. Importantly, the Broncos have stressed that the proposal is still flexible and will continue to evolve throughout 2026 with close coordination with the city, community leaders, and the Denver City Council. Now for the 2026 stadium update. The Denver Broncos officially moved their new stadium plan into its next phase in early 2026. Greg Penner, owner and CEO of the Broncos, confirmed that the team is now in the preliminary design stage for a new retractable roof stadium, signaling a clear step forward after months of planning and review. The project is currently estimated to cost at least $4 billion and is targeted for completion ahead of the 2031 NFL season, aligning with the expiration of the team's lease at Empower Field. Design, roof mechanics, and approvals are still ahead. The message from the Broncos in 2026 is clear. This is no longer just an idea. The project has entered the early design phase, and if the process continues to move forward, Denver could be on a long but defined path toward a new, modern home for the Broncos in the next decade. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks for spending the time with us. Subscribe and see you next time.